So I was born and raised in southern Brazil, and from a very early age, I fell in love with the guitar and just instrumental music and rock music. So I would say for 27 years, I basically wanted to sound like I wanted to make American music or Canadian music, emulating these bands and artists that I was listening to, and pretty much ignoring what was going on in my country or what had gone on before I was even born in my country. So bossa nova, choro, samba, or just popular music in general, I was never listening to it. And then I moved to Canada when I was 26. This is in 2018, so 5 years ago, and started to get to know some people in the scene there, in the music scene. And eventually I just realized how a lot of the musicians and artists that I respected there in Canada, we're recording this in Brazil, I'm just visiting, a lot of them respected Brazilian music so much that kind of woke me up to the music of my own country. So then I started getting heavily getting into Brazilian music, so listening to bossa nova, discovering Tom Jobim more deeply, João Gilberto, João Donato, Heitor Villa-Lobos, and eventually that influence, that whole information, all this wealth of information that I was getting from just researching music like that was made here, it made its way into my own music. So I realized, one day I noticed back in 2021, 2 years ago, I was writing in my studio, and these chords came up. So this chord progression and this bossa rhythm just came to me like this. So that's when I realized, now finally this music that I'm just listening to now, just getting to know, and just finding all these artists and the history and all that. Eventually, it happened that it was now coming out of me as I was playing. So that's a lot of the influence and the story for this record, for both these videos that we're doing here today, but also the volume 1, the record that I put out. So all these influences and all these artists that I never knew about or never really, really didn't really respect them as much, just because I didn't know them. So because I was always looking outside, and then now I was outside and I was looking back at Brazil, right? So that was really interesting, and the sound, those late 50s and 60s records, they have this constant hiss in the background, and things are not perfect. The performances are good, but they're not perfect, pristine and super clinical, right? They're soulful. These musicians were so rich, but so spontaneous as well. It was so beautiful, and the songwriting too. It's not based on loops as much. It's not like you come up with a chord progression and then you just repeat that over and over, right? It's more like the construction, the way Jobim particularly wrote. It's like a sound, almost like a soundtrack, right? Just develops, and it follows the melody kind of follows, or I don't know who's following who. I don't know if it's the lyrics or the melody which are I don't know if it's the lyrics or the melody that is leading the way. All I know is that they're traveling together, and by that I mean that whatever the lyrics are saying, it's being enhanced by what the harmony is and the melody are doing, and whatever the melody and harmony are doing is being enhanced by the lyrics, which is just a beautiful thing. So that, and the talking about more positive things, because I used to be a very, write about sad things all the time. I guess I was a sad person more years ago. So yeah, so that's a lot of that's the story of this whole new batch of songs that came out of me, very influenced by my own country, which is cool. And using the acoustic guitar, the classical, with nylon strings, a very sweet, very mellow sound, which I enjoy, and then strings, that's the bulk of how I write how I wrote these songs, is basically writing them on the guitar, but then coming up with writing these string arrangements. Some horns, some French horns, and then drums, So drums were recorded by Marito Marques, a Portuguese drummer based in Toronto. The flutes were recorded by Rob Christian, also a Toronto guy, incredible musician, incredible friend, has helped me in more ways than he even acknowledges, as a mentor, as a friend. And Jeremy Ledbetter recorded piano on Life. And yeah, so very happy. And then today here we're recording the acoustic, the solo version of all these songs, so just me on the guitar. And I don't know what I'll do next, but I suspect that Brazilian music will continue to influence my writing and the way I think about music. This is Leo Drasso, and this is some of the things that have influenced my music so far.